Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. I am in the greenhouse. It's blowing out and it's cold. I'm sitting here next to the old barrel stove and thinking about going in the house in a while, but I got an email from a guy by the name of Dustin Gorman. And the email was if I would, he was asking if I would make a video about how we feed our Mangalitsas. And it's been something that I've wanted to do for a while. And I'm going to kind of explain to you why I want to do that. Okay, I feed small grains, and by that I mean oats, barley, wheat sometimes, and rye. As I've told you, I stay away from wheat, and the reason is because they've got a new practice out there in industrial ag where they are spraying the wheat out in the field with glyphosate, that's Roundup, to kill it. And as soon as it's dead and it's dried, then they're bringing it in and they're milling it. And that's why everybody's got gluten intolerance. It's not actually gluten intolerance, it's glyphosate intolerance. So I stay away from wheat because of that. I like barley the best, but it's a small grain. And when I get it, it's just been combined and cleaned a little bit and then dumped on the ground. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of corn in it for energy in the wintertime. And my feeling about that is corn does get sprayed with glyphosate as well, but that is for weed control early in the process. All right. And by the time corn is harvested, very late in the season, again, a lot of times it's died in the field, and they're harvesting it and then they dry it down. That glyphosate is not really part of the cob. It's been sprayed on the plants when they were quite small, and then the plants grow up. And I don't like glyphosate. Don't get me wrong, I don't like it at all. And the reason I don't feed corn is because it colors the fat of the Mangalitsa, and it'll make the fat be kind of yellow. But in moderation, you can give them a little bit of it, and especially when it's real cold, they can use that boost of fat and carbohydrate. I used to be kind of a purist about that, like no corn, no GMOs. But since I've learned a little bit more about it, it's not that the corn is genetically modified. It's the fact that it's sprayed with glyphosate. That's what makes it toxic. I wouldn't do it with wheat, but with corn, I'm a little bit more forgiving. But I don't use a lot of it. Small grains is what you want to use. And hay. And here's the reason why I want to talk about this. Okay, Dustin, you were asking me how much. A sow needs about 5 pounds a day. 5 pounds of dry material a day. So if you're going to give them 3 pounds of, small grains, and don't grind it. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. When you grind up feed, it exposes it to the air, and you lose a lot of the nutrient value. And the guy at the feed store will tell you, "Oh, you got to do that so it's more palatable to the animal." My pigs don't have any trouble eating whole grains, and it's not like they put out a whole grain from the other end. They don't. Their systems are designed to break that down. As a matter of fact, if you don't feed them that, then their systems don't get to work the way they're designed to. So feed them whole grains. I'm not saying never grind it. If you have a feed grinder and you want to grind hay and small grains at the same time and grind batches of, for a week, or if you're going to fill a feeder with it or something like that, that's okay. Feeding on the ground, though, I wouldn't do it. And I don't do it. I feed whole grains. That grain has got a sheath on it that keeps it fresh and keeps it in good shape. So that's why I'm not a big I'm not in favor of grinding for palatability. Now, in the future, I hope to get a hammer mill that I can put a round bale in, and then I can put several buckets of small grains and a little bit of corn in there and grind that all up. Then you can put it in a big feeder out in the field, and it's kind of hands off for a little while. But you should be checking your pigs every day. When they get used to seeing you come out with feed, if they ever get out, or I should say when they get out, they're going to come looking for you because you're the bringer of food. So yeah, so that's the poundage. Okay, and the other subject I want to talk about, and I've had experience with this lately, is Hogchow. All right, people say, well, how much Hogchow should I give them? I would stay away from Hogchow. If you want to have a healthy herd, do not feed Hogchow. And I know this is controversial, but I don't shy away from controversial things. Hogchow comes in a nice shiny bag, maybe. How do they do that? What do they use for raw protein in there? They don't tell you. They just tell you it's raw protein. I've had several experiences with Hogchow. Some of it has been parasites. And lately we had a problem with tetanus. We don't know where it came from. It wasn't one of my pigs. It wasn't on my farm even. It was a pig that came from one of my pigs. And the pig was delivered to the people that bought it. And in about a week, it started acting weird and finally died of what appeared to be tetanus. I had a locked jaw and foaming at the mouth and all that stuff, and it had to be put down. And when that pig was delivered to their house, the pigs, there was two of them. They were in a pen the size of this greenhouse. It's pretty small, but big for two little pigs. And it stunk. I mean, two little pigs stunk terrible. And that's Hogchow. It smells kind of like if you ever step in a dog dew and then get in a car in the wintertime and the heater's on full blast. That smell, that's what Hogchow will do to a pig's excrement. But if you're feeding hay and small grains and only a little bit of corn, there's no smell on my farm at all. Very, very infrequently when I go in the house does my wife say, you smell like pig. Very, very infrequently. And believe me, she will if I do. Usually when I do, it's because we've been castrating pigs. And then you're handling their feet and they're walking around in it. And it's like cow manure. Yeah, it smells. But it doesn't have that terrible smell that a pig farm smells like. So I'm going to tell you this, and people might say I'm wrong, but we have a tremendously healthy herd. Before I made this video, I'm thinking back in the last year. Here it is, the new year, and I'm trying to think, when's the last time I had a sick pig? And it would have to be Snowball. And I kind of think that her problem came from contact with other animals. I don't think it was a viral, but I don't know, because we never did test her. We figured that she's going to make it or she's not, and she did. So, and before that, I mean, other than a stillborn pig now and then, I can't think of the last time we lost a pig to some sort of disease problem or anything like that. Of course, I have a closed herd, so I don't bring anything in from the outside. But yeah, that's my thing with Hogchow. Don't use it. Don't use it, because you don't know what you're going to bring into your herd. If you do go to the store and you read the bag, it's going to say on there raw protein. Now, when you find out what raw protein is, you see if you want to feed that to an animal that you're going to eat. I don't think you will. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I've heard it's everything from poodles to other pigs, and that's never a good idea. The pigs need protein. There's protein in hay. There's protein in grains. And then what I do, we also raise a lot of chickens here in the summertime. They're all pastured, and we feed them non-GMO uh, corn feed made with alfalfa. And when we process those chickens, we come out with a lot of heads, some feet. We're selling a lot of those feet now, and then the guts. And that's there's a lot of material there, and you really wouldn't have a problem with feeding a pig fresh chicken. And it's definitely fresh because it goes in the front end loader, and we split it up amongst the crowds, and we're butchering twice a week. So there's a lot of chicken protein that goes out to them. So that's what I know about feeds, and I'm glad to get that off my chest about hog chow. Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Anyone can farm. Oh, by the way, if you have a question, you can email me at bakersgreenacres@yahoo.com, and I'll try to answer the question if I can.